Hey,
Hey, how do you feel to be in Maryland? How does it feel to be
you
here?
know, stomping ground. It feels good. I mean, I haven't seen everybody yet. Like we just got, but I feel like I'm getting settled in for our
Hmm.
vacation.
Yeah,
So
yeah. It's
to
nice
call
to
this a vacation.
it's nice to see all the old stuff. I guess
Yeah,
we haven't gotten to do a lot, but
yeah. But we are kid free. So
first day of kid
that's a
free.
plus.
Yeah, so it's good to be here though. So
Yeah.
This is the story of freedom. This is the story of freedom. This is the story of freedom. We're gonna sing to freedom. This is the story of freedom.
so today's topic, I know we're talking about like keeping everything private.
Mhm.
I know when we went through premarital counseling, that was one of the main things he told us. It's like keep everybody out of your business.
Yeah.
And I think in what I see today is a lot of people don't do that. You know, you got reality TV,
Yeah.
then you got social media, then you got people just they want to share.
Mhm.
And sometimes I think they don't realize what they're doing. But let me ask you, like, how do you think why do you think that's a problem that people like share their business?
I mean, to put what like in a marriage, I can't say anything about relationship wise, like, cause it's different. But when you commit to somebody else,
Hmm.
and then you put all of the business out there for everybody else to see it, now you're allowing so many other people in your relationship to have an opinion about your spouse.
Right.
And as a spouse, you shouldn't want anybody to look at your partner in a negative way.
That's very true.
But if you're putting that stuff out there, that's exactly what's going to happen.
Right. So I know like the biggest thing is with family.
Mm-hmm.
So like people, and they do it out of habit. Like you got your mom or you got your cousin or your favorite sibling.
Yeah.
And you just naturally tell them everything.
Yeah, when you venting.
Yeah, you venting. So you upset, somebody do something, and you pick up the phone and you call this person and you start venting.
Yeah.
But what you don't realize is that you are talking about this person's son or daughter-in-law or sister or brother-in-law, and now you're going to start to ruin that relationship between them two,
Yep.
and you don't even realize it.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big issue, is that a lot of people, they naturally want to vent and they want to have somebody to talk to and be open, but they don't realize that it's like it's gonna strengthen your relationship to whoever you're talking to, but it's gonna weaken the relationship going the other direction. And then after you do all of that, you don't ruin their relationship. But now
And
you
then
show up to the
y'all good.
cookout.
Yeah, y'all good.
You show
And
up
then
to the
people
cookout.
side-eyeing that person
Yeah.
like, yeah, I already know what happened last week.
Right.
Da, 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 da. And you got people talking behind your back now.
Right. Right.
So you think you strengthening that relationship between that person, but honestly, they talking about you behind your back as soon as y'all get good.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the reality of it. I think that now something that I just thought about, and I'm gonna just throw this out there. Now, if you're like in an abusive relationship,
Yeah.
or you're in something that is like dangerous, in no way am I saying, keep quiet or
Right.
hide that.
Absolutely not.
I'm talking about the mundane arguments, the silly stuff that come,
Yeah.
along with a marriage or any relationship. You're going to have disagreements. Somebody's going to make you mad. Somebody's going to say something out the way to you. But at the end of the day, I think as a couple, for the most part, people say things they don't mean.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like you can take that information to somebody else, and that's where it gets tainted. That's where it's
Yeah.
going to destroy your marriage. But not like in situations where you're in danger or
Yeah.
you need to, speak
Yeah.
up about what you're going through. Just an argument, right?
Only the argument.
Yeah. We ain't talk about.
Just the tit for tat, the drama in between, what's going on in your household, not physical anymore.
Right, right.
Or what is it? Emotional
Even
abuse.
verbal abuse
Yeah,
and things like that. But you still, this is what I will say, and I'm not going to get too deep in that because we don't deal with
Yeah.
that. But what I will say is that out of all of that, you should find somebody that's safe and discreet to talk to about your marriage.
Right.
The person that is unbiased, a person that is not in your family, somebody that's not your friend, somebody that's not going to take sides, somebody that's you need to find a safe person, and that's if it is violence. That's if if it's physical, you need to call somebody, some police. I'm not the person to try to give you advice on that, but if it is just an argument, my thing is that I always say find an unbiased person to talk to, somebody that is out of the situation, somebody that's out of the relationship, somebody that don't really have ties to you either.
Yeah.
Because you don't want somebody that's just gonna take your side. You want somebody that's gonna tell you what's real and what's the right thing to do and were you right, like, you know what I'm saying, like.
Yeah.
You want somebody to be honest with you, and you also want somebody that's not going to put their feelings into what they're telling you.
And also, like when you just said, were you right or were you, like somebody that's not going to have a right or wrong. Like
Right.
Both, if you're arguing, both of you are wrong at that point.
Right.
You know?
That's true. That's very true.
So it's no right and wrong in those situations.
Yeah.
It's like, just figure that out.
Yeah. And I think that's what a lot of people look for.
Yeah.
It's like somebody to tell them
Yeah.
if they were right or wrong. But I think by going to somebody that's unbiased, they just going to tell you what the situation is and not necessarily.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So what about like, this is a hot one, but what about like social media? Like, you know, a lot of people tend to overshare
Yeah, definitely.
in social media. So it's like, it's that thin line of, I want to share my relationship. I want to be honest. And then you have some people who are trying to build a platform and how can I put this? I'm trying to say this. They are not doing this maliciously, but they feel like they are being the voice of women or the voice of men in marriages, but they might put their business out and it might cause some friction between their marriage. So just different elements of social media. Like, how do you feel about relationships on social media?
I think it's a great thing to, like, if you want to, you know, just get your relationship out and positive things, like put positive vibes out there. But when it comes to the, like, if it's drama, then absolutely not.
Keep it off.
Yeah.
And I think some people, just like we were talking earlier about the whole venting situation, some people turn to social media to vent.
Yeah, they do.
So it's like that can be a thing too, like where they post something and they're upset and they're in the moment and maybe it is a cry out for help or something. But
I think a lot of it is they don't have anybody that's actually that close to them that they feel like they can speak to and get any guidance or, you know, any word of advice from. And so they go out to social media, but when, you know, without even thinking about it, it's so many people chiming in. You got 200 and something comments and arguments going back and forth, and because especially if it's relationship drama, like you gonna have that person's family saying whatever they want to say on social media, and now it's a family feud on that one.
Facebook, Instagram, all over the place. It's just crazy. Yeah, so I agree 100%. And I think another thing is like the way that you display your relationship on social media is going to determine, I hate to say it like this, but the respect that you're going to get in that relationship. So if I'm putting out negative things about our relationship, that's going to open the door for other things, like people to slide in your DM, and because they see that you ain't happy. So that's, you see what I'm saying?
I don't want to see you like that. He shouldn't treat you like that.
Right.
Blah, blah. I can treat you better. That's just,
it opens the door for so many other things. It opens the door. And then if you are a person that you have a platform or trying to build a platform, I think that's definitely the time not to share your business on social media.
Yeah.
Somebody gonna take that piece of information, flip it, and all this other stuff. It's like all of that is not worth the covenant that you have in marriage. It's not worth what's between y'all two.
Yeah.
You know? So
I mean, and because we already know what people do. They take out bits and pieces of what you said. Even if you didn't mean to put it in a malicious way.
Right.
Like you just want to, you know, get something off your chest and you feel like this is your safe space.
Right.
People are going to take that word from the beginning, that word in the middle, that word from the end, put it together and like, I hate you.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So,
And it goes back to the same thing. It puts your spouse in a bad light. So now when they come to the cookout or y'all just out at a family dinner or something like that, it's going to be some type of tension, conflict, things like that, and you just don't want that
Yeah.
in your marriage. And you also want to protect. I will say, I always like to toot our horn a little bit, just a little bit. What I think we've done very well is to protect relationships within both of our families.
Yeah.
So like, I have never ever had a feud with anybody in your family
Same.
for no reason,
Yeah.
right? And the same for you. So it's like, if I were to have a feud with somebody, I would rather it be between me and that person, not something that has to do with us. You get what I'm saying? And so it's like, I think we've done a really good job of protecting our marriage, and protecting the relationships that we have outside of our marriage by not spreading all of this
Yeah.
misinformation and business and lies and stuff like that. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
So, another one, a big one, arguing in front of your children,
that's
like
bad.
letting them see that.
That's
That
bad.
is-
Yeah. That's really bad. I think that the first thing I'm gonna say is you got to know the type of arguer that you are. All right.
Yeah.
Now you shouldn't argue in front of your kids at all. I'm gonna say that. That's my stance. But I'm not. I want to make sure that I'm clear on this. You don't argue in front of your kids at all.
Right.
Especially if you are an arguer who yells,
Throws.
throw stuff, curse.
Yeah.
Especially, like,
Yeah.
don't do it at all. Especially if you do those things, you definitely don't need to do it because you don't see it, but it damages the relationship that your child has with one particular parent. And I see so many times where kids grow up and they're closer to mommy or they're closer to daddy, you know, and it could be because of something they saw.
Yeah.
And you didn't even know that they saw it.
Yeah.
You just thought, you know, we were just having some type of argument or disagreement in front of y'all in the car on the way to the park, right?
Yeah.
But you didn't realize that what you said,
It's stuck with
it
them.
stuck with them. And they didn't look at it like, oh, they're just having a disagreement. They looked at it like, well, why he talking to her like that? Or why
Yeah.
she talking to him like that?
Yeah, and not even that. Like, it scares them.
Yeah, that too.
It's like traumatizing.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know it because they don't come to you.
Right.
But at the end of the day, that's exactly what it's doing.
Yeah.
It's traumatizing.
Yeah. And it's setting the wrong example
Yeah.
of any kind of relationship. Because what I don't think what parents realize is that you're the first relationship they see. Like, especially like, you can't even say like siblings because some people got, you know, one kid.
Yeah.
So they don't see like the brother and sister. They don't see like, they'll see that eventually from other people. But ultimately, the marriage is the first relationship that they see. So it's like, for them in all relationships, they mimic what they see in the marriage. Because that's the first relationship and the most consistent relationship they see on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So even the way that they begin to talk to their own friends, it might be mimicking the way that they see arguments handled in their household. If they see people turning up, yelling, and doing all this, that is the way that they're going to argue, whether it's with a friend or whoever, as they get older, because they're mimicking what they see.
Yeah.
So it's like you always have to make sure that you are on your best behavior when you are in front of your kids.
Yeah. Just like you want them to be on their best behavior in front of
Right.
company.
Exactly.
Like,
That's a good
treat them
point.
like your company. But if you argue in front of your company, never mind.
Right, because some people do.
They-
So that's why I always be careful with stuff like that. Because some people, I done been to folks' houses and, you know, it just get turned up. And I'd be like, all right, so
Go.
I'm going to see y'all a little bit later. Like, but yeah, I think that it is across the board. I think we have agreed.
Yeah.
You don't argue in front of anybody, number
Yeah.
one. And then another thing that I see, we talked about this before. So I'm just giving a scenario. We on the way to a family event, right? A big family event. We just argued in the car, right?
Yeah.
Now we pull up to this family event. How do we conduct ourselves at this event? And I just argued with you. What, like, because I see it, how can I put it? I see it the wrong way often.
Yeah.
how do you think a couple should conduct themselves after a heated argument and now they have to be in front of people?
I think it's something that has to be set up before that actually happens, because if you don't have that conversation when you're good,
Right.
then let's be honest, you're gonna go into that cookout, that family event, still in the same mind space as you
Right.
were in the car. But if you had that, like we've had that conversation, when we're in public, people are gonna see us at our best. Like we're gonna
Right.
be, baby, hey, like
You won't know.
you won't know.
Yeah.
You gonna think we good, and then when we get out back to the car, then we can
Right.
finish what we were
Right.
starting.
Yeah.
But
And sometimes I will say this, like, if you're the type of person that say, well, I can't do that, then settle it before you go.
right,
Settle it.
yeah,
Because what most people don't want to do, they don't want to settle it because they don't want to deal with the situation. They don't want to, they just don't want to deal with it. Like, they don't want to face the reality of it. So if you're the type of person, because I just feel somebody making an excuse somewhere, like, well, I'm not that kind of person. I can't put on no front. I can't, you know how people is. So if you're that type, then settle it.
yeah,
Because I understand there are certain situations where it's like, I don't know how I'm gonna go in here with this straight face on and I just found this information out, or I just, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, in that sense, settle it
yeah,
before you go. Because again, and I'm gonna keep on saying it, your marriage is important than one event,
right.
than you seeing a few people that you see all the time. So it's like, settle it, then go.
Or don't go.
Or don't go.
Yeah, don't go. If you can't get it settled in that time frame
Yeah.
for you to get ready to be where you're supposed to be, don't go. Because
Yeah.
what's more important,
Right.
your marriage or that event?
Right. And that's what it comes down to. And I think the other part to that is like, because somebody might be trying to figure out, well, why is that important? It's important because if you at a family event, people pick up energy in the way that you feel. And all it takes is for you to talk to somebody and they say, what's wrong with you? And then that's it for you. Like that is where it's going to all open up, right? That's
Yeah.
where everything we just talked about is going to happen, where you open up and you say, well, he da she, and then you tell them your business out in public. So this is all things that is avoiding putting your business all out in the street. It's like, let it be between y'all two. And like I said, if you can't settle it, go to somebody else that's outside of the relationship, whether that be together
Right.
or separately.
Yeah.
I know when we first got married, I used to go to our pastor a lot. So like if I was feeling a certain way and I didn't know how to handle it, I went to him. And again, it was kind of like he knew both of us, but I knew that he wasn't going to be biased. I knew that he wasn't going to give me a one-sided view. He was going to let me know just plain what was going on and not be involved in it like feelings-wise.
Yeah.
And I see like that's the problem with a lot of friends and family. They insert their emotion into it.
Yeah.
And-
I felt like he did that.
Yeah, and then they started bringing stuff into the mix about how they felt or how they thought.
Yeah.
And none of that is important in your marriage. Like how somebody else feels about you has nothing to do with our marriage. It should only be between us two.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like you can't even allow spaces for people to start saying stuff like that about your spouse. Like, I don't know what I might do if somebody says something negative about you. I'll probably be like,
You know what? I'm gonna be a whole different person because, like,
I just
one
thought
thing
about
I
that.
don't play about is you and my kids, and I just don't do it.
yeah.
Don't say nothing bad about them. Don't look at them the wrong way. Why you looking at him like that? Like, if the waiter don't get your food right, no,
Take
fix
it back. Oh, she gonna say take it back. She gonna say
That's
take it
not
back.
right.
Yeah. And I'm the type, I'm gonna just be like, oh, it's okay. No, take it back. I'm like, okay.
They messaged Chipotle.
It ain't enough. Put some more chicken on it. Like, okay. Like, you order it from now on. I'm not gonna order it. So, but yeah, it's like, I can't even imagine being in a space where somebody is talking negative about my spouse. Like, I'm not, first of all, I can't imagine it. And then I'm definitely not going to invite it by bringing up our business to somebody, because that's what you're doing. You're inviting an opinion.
Yeah.
So it's like, you just can't do it. Like,
Yeah. I think another big thing is, like, a lot of people they might have these friends that they want to, they've always talked to, and always was able to vent to and get, advice from. But now you're in a marriage and you're in a different space than they are. They're single.
That's a good point too.
They just dating.
Mm-hmm.
They can't give you marital advice because they're not in that position yet.
And you open up a can of worms because a lot of people don't believe that.
Yeah.
I have ran across so many people who are not married, never been married, in some ways don't even plan on getting married, but somehow they believe that they can give marriage advice.
Yeah.
And it is very different when you are actually married.
Mm-hmm.
It is a big difference. I don't know what it is. It's something about that whole vows, and when that connection is made and all of that is set in stone, it is a big difference in being married and being in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And until you are married, you can't really speak on it, because see, the thing is like when you're married, especially when you're in a Christian marriage, it ain't no separate. It's no divorce. It's no, you know what I'm saying? It's like I can't just walk away from this. Now there's a difference if somebody, it's a lot going on, blah blah blah, y'all need space. That's, you know what I'm saying? Like that's another situation. However, I can't just walk away like a relationship.
Right.
So I think that when a lot of single people give advice, they're giving advice based off of the fact that they can pick up all of their things and walk away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll be quick to be like, you need to go.
Yeah.
You need to go. But like, you can't just go. It's like, where am I going? And why am I going? Like, what is really the problem?
Yeah.
Like, is it something that I really can't get through?
Yeah.
Like, why am I leaving?
Yeah. I think that most things can be worked out.
Yeah.
I think that with the right guidance, with the right help, and I'm going to just keep on saying this, sometimes it will involve people that's outside of y'all to help. And if you are a Christian marriage, that needs to be somebody who can speak to a Christian marriage.
Yeah.
If y'all just can't work it out, you need to go to another person together.
Yeah.
That can be a pastor, that can be somebody, a Christian counselor, a marriage counselor or something. Because what I think a lot of times people try to do is, if they can't figure it out, they just stop. Because they just say, well, I can't do this.
Yeah.
But it's like, you can. You just don't know what you can do because you haven't sought out all the resources. Yeah. So it's like, and that's why it's so hard for me to even speak on this, because I thank God that we never got to that point where it was just like, oh, like we got to do this. But it's like, I think that if we did, we would know enough to say, well, let's go see somebody and get a second. It's like, you go to the doctor, if you get bad news from a doctor, I know I would do this. I don't know who else. I'm going somewhere else real fast. I'm like, let me see what they talking about over here. Because I hear what you saying, but let me see what they saying over here. And I think that's what needs to happen sometimes. It's like, in order for y'all not to put your business out in the streets and tell mama, tell daddy, go tell somebody that really can help you, and that can really speak to what y'all are going through, and not just tell you something based on their personal opinion.
Right.
Right. And so that's my advice. I think.
I mean, I feel like I can't get advice from people who aren't married about my marriage, not about other things.
Right.
Like how to be a mom.
Right.
Like, if you a mom, you can tell me. Show me something. I don't know. Because, I mean, I can use some help, some tips.
Right.
But, like, when it comes to my marriage, whoever I'm getting that advice from, I really, really want them to be married. And that's just me.
Yeah.
That's what I need.
Yeah. Yeah. And I even would go as far as saying the type of marriage that you're getting the advice from.
Oh, yeah.
Because some people, they believe that they can give advice, but it's like, you can't take advice from everybody. No. And I'm sorry to say this, but that's with anything, not even just marriage. It's like, just because you a vegan and I'm trying to be a vegan, I might not just need to depend on your advice. I might need to do my own research too to figure out what because you might be a vegan, but you might have a good tolerance for sugar. I might be diabetic. I might can't have it. Yeah, whatever the case might be, I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, in that same sense, if you're married, I need to know a little bit about your marriage and the success of it before I can just. So I'm very careful.
Yeah,
That's all I'm saying.
Hey,
it's like.
you married? Yeah, come here real quick. I need to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Bro, like,
So I think, but that's a good point because some people do that. They see, well, this looked like a good marriage, and she telling me this or he telling me this, so maybe I should. It's like, no,
yeah.
still tread lightly. Like it is very few times that somebody had told me something, and I'm like advice, and I actually put it in action into our marriage.
Yeah.
The only time I can truly say that I did that is premarital counseling. Like, there's not many times where somebody tell me something and I say, "Oh, I'm gonna try that out."
Yeah.
Like, I'm not testing nothing out in this marriage outside of what I know that already works and what's between us two. Like, I'm not gonna let somebody influence. Now, again, if it's an expert or whatever the case might be, that's different. But I'm just saying you got to be careful with
Who you allow.
whoever it is, and that's what the whole conversation is about.
Yes.
It's total privacy. Like nobody can come in, nobody can intrude, nobody can give their opinion, nobody can say nothing. And I think that when you do that the right way, and we are evident of this, of 10 years of evidence, nobody has ever tried to insert themselves in our marriage.
No.
Because it's like we never told anybody that.
Yeah.
Like I never had to tell somebody step back. I never had to. And maybe it's just I thank God for that, but I never had to tell somebody to step out of it, like to stay out of it. So it's like because of the way that we've already been operating, people automatically know like that's closed off. Like I'm not getting in between.
Yeah. It's not even that they feel like they can't even get in between it because they don't even see that they
They don't know what to get in between. They don't know what, when, anytime. It's like they just don't know. It is something that is just they can't get into. So I think that if you have now, what about this? I just thought about this question as we close out. What if somebody already have put their business out there? Is it coming back? Like, can they come back from that? If people know the history of their spouse or things like that?
Oh yeah, I think they can absolutely come back from that. Because like I said, it doesn't matter what you think about my spouse.
Right.
It's me and you.
Right.
So you can have your opinions. I'm pretty sure people have their opinions about our relationship right now.
Yeah.
But do I care?
Yeah.
No.
Right.
Will I ever
True.
care? No.
True. Yeah.
So I think that's what you have to look at. Like you have to, if you put your business out there before, you can come back from that. Definitely.
Yeah.
Don't put it out there no more.
Yeah. Moving forward. Yeah. And keep it that way.
Yeah.
Don't. And I think that, it takes practice and it also takes patience because, it is times where you want to call somebody and you want to say something. You want to, but you know not to.
Yeah.
And so it's like for those people who don't know not to because they always pick up the phone and talk to somebody when something happens, it takes practice.
Yeah.
And it takes patience.
Yeah.
But I also have found that is the time, if there's no other time, to start reading the Bible, listen to some gospel music. Like whatever you got to do to calm yourself down, number one. And then also get some insight.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about outside of talking to somebody and all that kind of stuff. Because sometimes stuff just don't even call for all that. Like, it's a small situation. You don't really need to call them. Just, I don't know, do something. Take your mind off of it.
Yeah.
Read a book, listen to a song, do something to take your mind off of that. And then come back and talk or whatever the case might be. So I'm just saying, like, people just need to find different outlets outside of gossiping. So all in all, I think it's safe to say, keep folks out your business.
Absolutely.
Well, I hope that you all enjoyed this episode of this podcast. We are in Maryland, so I think that the next one might be special for y'all. We're trying to put something together, so
Yeah.
just hang tight. But I hope you enjoyed this one. And as we always say, be sure to like, subscribe,
Comment,
comment,
share.
all that good stuff. Any questions that you all might have about us personally, in our marriage, or any questions and topics you want us to talk about, let us know and we'll get to it on one of these
Yes.
episodes.
Yes. So thanks for watching. If you haven't tuned into the last ones, go watch
that one.
them.
Yep. And start telling some people, like, tag some of your married friends, some folks that's engaged. We know y'all out there, so
Yeah.
start telling some folks to tune in. And I think that we can do something really good with this. So make sure you spread the word.
Absolutely. So,
See ya. All right.